Matlock. So, Matlock is the new Kathy Bates series, starring Kathy Bates. It follows Madeline Matlock as she rejoins the workforce at a prestigious law firm where she uses her wily tactics to win cases and expose wrongdoing. Just when you thought, I've watched Suits and I think I'm all lawyered out. I do not need another series about a law firm. Matlock comes along and says, hold my beer, because it's so good. I love this show. It's an incredible show. I love there's I guess the conceit of this series, which wasn't explained in that synopsis, and I wouldn't call this too much of a spoiler because it happens in the first episode. Kathy Bates' character is kind of there undercover because she's trying to expose this law firm, right? So even though she's there working for the law firm, she's an old lady who's managed to get a job at a law firm, and she's got this great sort of sob story about, how she needs to make money because she lost all her money, lost her husband and lost her daughter, and so they hire her and she's working, and she's winning all these cases or helping the lawyers win their cases. And we find out in the first episode that she's not some sort of dithering old lady here. She's there on a mission to actually take down this law firm that she's working for. She needs to find evidence that they hid documents that could have kept certain opioids off the streets, and then her daughter would have maybe survived. And that's a great little twist, because she plays cute old lady, but she is cunning and conniving and very clever. And it's just wonderful. The dynamics in this. Kathy Bates is a great actress. Like she can have you in tears. The way her lip quivers when she's sad, when she's got a hard day and she's like, it's hard being at work, lying to everyone, and I'm making friends with everyone, and her lip starts to quiver. You're like, fuck, my lip's quivering now. Like, how do you act that? Like, I can't act the quiver lip. I wish I could, but I can't do that. That's an involuntary action. But she seems to be able to do it, and it's so good. The twists, the turns, the cleverness. You kind of get on the edge of your seat. It's a completely different type of show, but it shares something with Prison Break. Do you remember when Prison Break first came on? And they're in their cell, and Michael Scofield would have to pull the toilet out and leave his cell when the guards aren't looking, and do things to sort of prepare the escape. And you would be on the edge of your seat that whole time, especially as Sucre would be in the cell, like praying that Michael Scofield comes back before the guard gets there, and you're like, gosh, Jesus, they're going to get caught. Even though, of course, they're not going to get caught, because this is a whole series you've got to watch of this. But every time you're on the edge of your seat thinking they are going to get caught any second. I can't bear this stress anymore. The same sort of feeling happens in this, like when Kathy Bates needs to get into her boss's laptop, and so she comes up with a plan to make sure that the laptop's left on its own, and so she can get to it, but then the boss is walking back. You're just on the edge of your seat going, oh my God, this is so stressful. Please don't get caught. Please don't get caught. And of course, she's not going to get caught, because this is a whole series we've got to watch. It still sucks you in. That's what's so good about Prison Break and so good about Matlock, is that of course they're not going to get caught in this episode right now that you're watching. 100%. You know they're not going to get caught, yet I'm still on the edge of my seat. That's good storytelling. That's just good storytelling. That's the end of that, really. It's so good. I really enjoy the feminism that they put in this, because there's one really particular episode where a lady, I guess, had some inappropriate advances made at work towards her. And because of that, the quality of her work went down, and then because of that, she got fired. And she takes them to court. And Kathy Bates' character has to sort of defend her. But Kathy Bates' character doesn't really want to defend her because she doesn't agree with her. And she's like, in my day, those snarky comments, the inappropriate touching, you just had to fucking deal with it and then carry on with your life. You wouldn't let your work suffer for that. And that's the point of view that she has. So why is this good feminism? Because you get to see a woman who is a feminist because she obviously believes in equal rights. She obviously is a working woman. She's worked as a lawyer her whole life. She learns that it's deeper than that. And it's an amazing episode. She tells this whole story about how, she was a contract lawyer, but she wanted to be a lawyer who would argue cases in court. But because this guy made inappropriate comments to her one day, she thought, I'll just stay clear of that guy. And that just ended up sort of directing her life towards contract law. So she spent the majority of her life in contract law, and she didn't think anything of that during the time, but reflecting back, she realizes, because I just put up with this guy making inappropriate comments, and because that guy thought he had the right to inappropriate comments, I gave up my dreams. In some sense, he affected her life to such a huge extent. She ended up just being in contract law rather than the area of law she would have really loved to have been in. And that revelation from her is such a great revelation as she realizes that this lady standing up for her rights here, she got fired because her work was bad. Her work had dipped in quality, yes, but it dipped in quality because of the actions of somebody else. And it takes a lot of courage to stand up to men like that, or people like that. Courage that Kathy Bates' character, even though she's a strong woman, courage she did not have as a younger woman, and she just put up with it and then gave up on her dreams. It can affect your whole life, these little things. It can, and like, if there's any guys watching and you say the odd thing to someone who you might fancy at work, remember, like, the you might think it's flirty banter or whatever, but if you make someone feel uncomfortable, and they might not have the confidence to explain that out loud, you might end up inadvertently having them lose their dreams or giving up on their dreams, just to sort of, not have to get into a altercation with you, a big man, just so that they can carry on having a life of no drama, So next time you are sort of, maybe you might just be complimenting a girl, and it's fine to compliment people, but really do pay attention to the subtleties of body language. And if somebody looks like they're not fully on board with this, I mean, first, it's just not really appropriate to do that, but if someone looks nice, they look nice, and you want to tell them they look nice, like boy or girl, whoever, like, I do feel like you can still say that, but if you've really got to pay attention to the small details, and if there's even the hint of maybe you've made someone feel uncomfortable, just don't do that anymore. Don't go out of your way to talk like that. It's really it's really important you notice that about yourself. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. Right, let me know what you thought if you've seen Matlock. Let me know if you thought it was really good, if you like the feminism of it. And just let me know in the comments below.